News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. There's some crazy stuff going on with Ukraine and Russia, and it's all because Joe Biden is feckless and weak. I'll share you the details on this in a second, but I like how the Wall Street Journal summed it up today with their editorial board. Biden leaves Trump a Ukraine mess. Biden is leaving Ukraine and Mr. Trump in a bad place. These are just some highlights of this. It's a pretty lengthy editorial, but I have just a handful of lines from it. Pentagon has delayed providing advanced weapons for fear that Vladimir Putin might escalate the conflict. In other words, Biden hasn't given them the defense systems and the offense systems that they need to actually win. And if you really want Ukraine to win, you give them what they need to get the job done and finish it fast. Biden instead has given them little by little by little, not enough, and dragging it out because he's afraid. The man's afraid. His modus operandi is, I'm afraid of escalation. That's it. And the world knows it. Everybody knows it. He's afraid. Even now, the journal says, U.S. restricts Ukraine from long-range missile strikes in Russian territory. The U.S. learned the hard way in Vietnam and Afghanistan. You can't win a war when your enemy has a safe haven. By the way, I didn't know this about Vietnam until I watched a government propaganda film done with John Wayne hosting it. You can still look it up on Amazon. Last time I checked, I watched it. It was very interesting. And he talked about how we can win this war. And propaganda doesn't mean it's bad or wrong. It just means it's a pro-government video towards the war effort, I guess. That might not be the exact definition, but that's what it means, right? It's not even necessarily bad. It's just a pro-war thing. But he explained, and he showed on maps, they interviewed like admirals and stuff, and pilots and other things. And they restrained the Navy from firing missiles. The same thing happened in the Korean War. We could have finished them. We could have won. And obviously in Afghanistan, when you neuter us, we can't finish the job. Jake Sullivan, Biden's national security advisor, the journal said recently the administration plans to give Ukraine all of the military aid that Congress passed this year by the time it leaves office January 20th. This means Trump will become president with Ukraine exhausting its weapons supply. The mess will soon be Mr. Trump's. If Trump fails to support new aid to Ukraine for this scenario, it might go down as Trump's version of Mr. Biden's Afghanistan retreat. While the world's changed for the worse since Trump left office, they say, Biden's weakness has failed to deter adversaries in Europe, the Middle East, and Asia Pacific. And now we pivot to what's happening today. Ukraine war latest. Russia ready to carry out a massive attack. Ukraine warned as Kyiv's defenses crumble. Moscow's missile and drone attack on Kyiv today could be a start of bigger attacks to come. Ukrainian officials warned. And from the front line in eastern Ukraine, the correspondent with Sky News in Britain says Kyiv's forces are in trouble. And one of the analysis reports done by Sky News was Russia is dominating the war and Ukraine is in trouble. One of the things they also report is Russia's combined missile and drone attack on Kyiv today could be the start of this bigger attack to come in the weeks and months. And National Security Defense Council, I guess that's what they call them, I guess that's in Ukraine, on Telegram said that Moscow is ready to carry out a massive attack and accumulate a significant number of cruise missiles for the winter. Ukraine facing its harshest winter since 2022. They're worried new Russian attacks can deal blows to severely damage the energy system in Ukraine, causing long blackouts, the coldest weather as it sets in. This is a Biden disaster, and Trump's going to come in January. In mid to late January with this crap pile that Biden created. And can he end it? Well, not if Ukraine has a nuke. Ukraine is months away, according to the Express A report from the Daily Express U.S. Ukraine months away from building a nuclear bomb if Trump cuts aid, report says. They could build a nuclear bomb within months if Trump cuts military aid to the country, the report says, using similar technology to the bomb the U.S. detonated over Nagasaki in 1945. Creating a simple atomic bomb as we did back then would not be a difficult task 80 years later, the Times reported. Using plutonium extracted from spent fuel rods, because they have nuclear facilities for nuclear energy, nuclear power plants. Ukraine has 7 tons of reactor plutonium available. The amount of material is sufficient for hundreds of warheads with a tactical yield of several kilotons. The paper has been shared with Ukraine's deputy defense minister. The U.S. says it's sending an additional $425 million in military aid to Ukraine. What a freaking waste. The package includes weapons that will be pulled from U.S. stockpiles, existing U.S. stockpiles, including armored vehicles and anti-tank weapons. I am sick of this. Our javelins and what was the other one? There's 2 different ones. There's javelins and one other one that are going to take 7 years to get back up to the supply we need. We are screwed. This is a disaster. All because Biden is feckless and is afraid and didn't show cojones on the table like Trump did. So my questions for you is, how likely do you think Ukraine is to develop and use a nuclear weapon? And do you trust Zelenskyy with a nuke? Man, I don't trust Zelenskyy with anything. I don't trust him with anything. And shoving in an additional $425 million or billion or whatever Joe Biden's going to try to do and get it all over to him by January 20th, all that does is ensure more corruption and more waste of our money. But that's what he's going to do to undermine Trump. You know, he's also tried to put legislation through and stuff with the EU through that mandates that we have to spend a certain amount for in the future so that Trump can't stop it. It's just horrible. It's like he wants this war to continue and drag on for another year or two and nobody to win it. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say a term that I've used before, war, and I got this from a general. War is begun by mistakes. And so if Ukraine develops a nuclear weapon, I God knows what could happen. It's disgusting, and it shouldn't be allowed. And do you think Trump will cut off Ukraine aid? And should we cut it off? Yes and yes. He's going to have to take Ukraine by the cojones and sit him down and get him in line. And I think he's going to have to allow Russia to have some of this property that they occupy right now to make everybody happy, and Ukraine's not going to be happy, but screw them. Screw them. Give them, there's talk about an 800-mile buffer zone and such. Maybe that works, and maybe Russia gives back half of what it has right now or something. I don't know, but this is just horrible, and it's got to stop, and it's got to stop ASAP. So my question to you is, how likely do you think Ukraine is to use and develop a nuclear weapon? Do you trust Zelenskyy with a nuke? And do you think Trump will cut off Ukraine aid, and should we cut it off? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. We'll take your calls on that coming up next, but I don't trust them, and we should do everything we can to not allow them to have a nuclear weapon of any kind, even the one from 1945 that we dropped on Nagasaki. No, no, no. If that were to be about to happen, we should take out the nuclear program. I mean, whatever we have to do to stop this. Hell no. And the sooner we cut them off, the sooner Volodymyr Zelenskyy gets his cojones crimped and stops telling us to hump his leg, and he starts humping our leg. He was saying today, President Trump, he was saying in the news, President Trump, I'm so happy he won all his victories, great. Yes. He won't hump my leg, though. Everybody else hump my leg. He won't hump my leg. Why not? Mr. President, come, hump my leg. No, he tells him, you hump my leg, sir. Zelenskyy, you hump my leg. You kiss my ring. Get out of here. You're done. I am so sick of them. And I am so sick of this endless war. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. We got to understand that Trump could have a nightmare here. And if he does, it's not going to, I swear to you, like it's all Putin's fault for doing this. But I'm going to tell you right now, if this breaks out and goes bat crap crazy and goes sideways, it is going to be because of Zelensky, not Putin. It'll be because of Zelensky doing some wild, crazy stuff because he wants to do something to end this in his favor before Trump ends it in his non-favor. Okay, also I want to do coming up next too is yet another mountain lion sighting, a third mountain lion sighting. This time it's in Plano. We're going to talk about when you've come face to face with deadly animals. And what you've done in that situation. 800-288-WBAP is the number. We're going to talk to Brad in Dallas up next, who supports funding the war in Ukraine. We'll talk about that with him coming up next on the Chris Crock Show in 2 minutes at 10:17 on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Ukraine may want to get a nuke ASAP, months away, actually. They're months away from building a nuke if Trump cuts their aid. How likely is Ukraine to develop and use a nuclear weapon, do you think? And do you trust Zelensky with a nuke? And do you think Trump will cut off Ukraine aid, and should we cut it off? Listen, let me tell you something. I unequivocally think that we would have to totally destroy Ukraine's nuclear program capabilities if they were trying to build a bomb. I mean, we'd have to take all their spent fuel and say, if you try to do this again, you're not going to have a nuclear energy plant in your country because we're not going to allow this. No, they should not be nuclear. Hell no. Hell no. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let's go to, which one first? We got Brad, right? Brad first, and then we'll get to you, Gregory. Plus your call, 3 lines open, 800-288-WBAP is our number. Brad in Dallas, hello, my friend. What do you got, WBAP?
What about your stance on our support for Ukraine and for Zelensky?
Yeah.
I think that one thing history shows us is that you can't appease a dictator, and that's one thing Neville Chamberlain learned in 1938. He assumed that Hitler was going to keep his word and was going to stop his path toward aggression toward the West, and of course that didn't happen. I think that we can't trust Putin, and I think we made a choice. I think a correct choice, and one that Reagan would have supported, to support Ukraine with our money instead of our lives. The Ukrainian soldiers are the ones dying fighting Putin.
Yes. I
think if they didn't, then Putin would have taken Ukraine and would pose a threat to NATO countries along the border and to us eventually.
You don't think, though, that and I've not been against a Ukraine victory and helping them earlier on, but I'm just done at this point. And I think it's Biden's fault this happened. I think it's Biden's fault this dragged on this long. And if you wanted to do it the right way, you would have done something to stop the Russian aggression before the invasion happened. I'm sure you agree with that.
Well, I agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like this wouldn't happen under Trump. I'm sure you agree, or Reagan. And secondarily, when the buildup of 70,000 troops around Ukraine before the invasion was pathetic, that Biden said, "Well, a small invasion." I mean, it was a disgrace. The man is his MO is fear of escalation, which leads to, funny enough, escalation, right, and more war. But you don't think Putin is going to go into Europe after this, do you?
I think that you can't discount that. I think that if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. People who have his psychology tend to only understand the language of force. If they fear you and they understand the repercussions of bad actions, then they'll stop. If there's nothing in their way and you give him Ukraine, he's going to think about more. The other thing is that if he takes Ukraine eventually, he'll have all the technology of Ukraine, and the soldiers that Ukraine would fold into the greater Russian army, that would then pose a greater threat to the West.
Let me ask you a question. If there's such a threat to Europe and the West and going in, why hasn't Europe done more by funding more and giving more weapons and more money to them? Why are we doing all this? We're not the ones being. They're not in our backyard.
Well,
that tells me. By the way, that tells me that Europe doesn't see this as a threat as much as you do.
Well, I think they do. They've provided substantial material from Netherlands to Germany, armored vehicles, airplanes, F-16s from the Netherlands, from their arsenal. I think that certainly they could do more. I think that,
like the amount of money the amount of money they've spent compared to us is insanely tiny. That tells me they're not afraid. It's not really going to happen. It's all bluster.
Well, I think if you look at Poland, they don't feel that way.
No, no, and they're in a different situation. They're like right there.
Right, but I mean, so are the Baltic states, and they've all lived under Soviet oppression, during the entire length of the Cold War. So, I just think that you're. If you want to end the war in Ukraine, that's understandable. I think everyone does. The question is, what are the terms going to mean long term for our safety?
Right, I agree. Now, listen, last thing is this. You agree we cannot allow Ukraine to have a nuclear bomb, right?
Well,
dude,
I think it would be.
You trust a corrupt dictator named Zelensky?
Well, I don't think he's any more corrupt than anybody else over there, including in the West.
Well, they're like one of the second or third most corrupt nation in that part of the world.
Well, okay, but let me say this: we basically gave Ukraine our guarantee of security for dismantling their nuclear arsenal after the wall fell down.
But
that's what led us to this problem.
Sure, what Joe Biden led us to this. I'm not giving them a nuke, and it must be stopped. And I'm sorry you disagree. Yeah. There's no way.
I don't disagree with you on that. I think it would be a dangerous situation.
Absolutely.
But I think that, we could prevent the bad side of that by just continuing to support Ukraine. I think Trump will continue to support him.
We'll see how it goes, Brad. But I appreciate your call, sir, very much. All right, Gregory, Southlake, WBAP. You got 45 seconds. Go.
This is the kind of news that's going to push Putin to whack everybody. In other words, he's got to do three things to win this fast. Before Trump gets in office, he has to whack Zelensky, he has to flatten Ukraine, and he flatten Kiev, and he has to take out their entire electrical grid.
He's pounding very hard right now, and he's going to continue to pound very hard to do as much damage as he can before Trump gets in.
News like this, like Ukraine thinking about getting a nuke, he's going to pound them a lot harder. This could get finished very fast.
Yeah.
And he's not going to go nuclear on them, but he's going to just take everything conventional he has and flatten the place.
Yeah, I appreciate your call, Gregory. He's gonna pound so hard just because he only has a couple months left and it's over. So that's why I think he's going to do it. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Yet another mountain lion sighting confirmed in Plano. It's in two different counties, all over three different places, on one side of a lake, on the other side of a lake, in another county. No, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know my butt from a hole in the ground as an expert with mountain lions, but it's not the same mountain lion showing up in Plano the next night after it was in Denton the day before. Like, no, get out of here. So we got a problem. How do we react when we see one or respond? That's coming up next to the Chris Crock Show. We're going to have fun with this on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3, 800-288-WBAP is our number. Tonight, you may have a mountain lion in your backyard. Did you know that? Yeah, right now, you could have one of these things in your backyard. Yes. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty. Nice kitty. Nice kitty. Nice kitty. Those are my little. These are real, actual sound bites of these things. Yeah, we're partying. Yeah. Okay, this guy could be in your backyard tonight. All right, this guy could be sitting in your backyard right now. You let your dog out by his or herself in the backyard. This thing's gonna chew your dog like a Pop-Tart, like a little meatball, like you go dove hunting. It's like the size of a tiny little meatball. There's a lady I know who's across the main, there's like a large, there's 4-lane roads that divides us into another neighborhood to the north of us. She let her 2 dogs out. They're like Pomeranians or something. At like 2:30 in the morning, they had to go out. She let them out, and she thinks she may have forgotten the side door or a gate or something like that. Anyway, they were gone, man. They were gone. One of them was recovered, like it was half dead, and then didn't make it, and the other one was gone. Probably found Fluffy's collar in the entrails left from the what do you call it, the droppings from the cat down the road. I mean, that's just it, man. Look, my dog is 7 pounds. She is gone. She'll bark at the thing, and after the 3rd bark, she'll be in the thing's belly. It'll be over with. And it'll devastate us. So here's what we do in this family. We accompany the dog outside. Unless you're my wife, then she just lets it out. She's like, well, if it happens, it happens. I'm like, yes, we have a 6-foot fence, but that you have to understand, that won't stop even a coyote. Did you know that? A coyote can jump over that. They might jump up and struggle for a sec to get over, but they can get over it. I'm not saying that to just say that. So I want to know a few things. So here's what it was. The mountain lion showed up in somebody's backyard last night in Plano, in Collin County, of course. And I love this explanation from the quote-unquote experts. Oh, they're just likely passing through. Hi! I came by to see a jig. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. If you refuse me, honey, you lose me. You know, with the tap dance hat and the cane going, get out of here. It's not passing through. It's going to kill you. Kill. That's what it's going to do. It's going to kill you and your kid. Okay, look at this. There was one the other day was in Lake Dallas. Not in the lake, but it was it was in Lake Dallas, a suburb of. And then it was in Frisco. One was in Lake Dallas, October 27th. 4 days or 5 days later, November 1st, one in Frisco. They claim, I love how it's probably the same one. Probably. Let's stick around and find out. What do they say, FAFO? Let's FAFO. No FAFO. And then all of a sudden, last night in Plano, in Texas, mountain lions are primarily found in the Trans-Pecos parts of South Texas. Well, guess what? They're freaking here now. They're here. Okay, so isolated lions can move long distances and show up far from their native ranges. Yeah, like 20 miles in one day? I don't know. 30? What are they? Were they sprinting at the highway like a jaguar out next to us on the road? Were they running through houses at 50 miles an hour, showing up in the 2 counties over? No. We're being invaded by terrorists. They're called mountain lions. They're also called pumas. Puma. Arr. Okay, so it was shortly after 2:30 a.m. Friday morning, there was somebody in Plano. I love how they say, quote, a single, quote-unquote, mountain lion is likely. Don't worry, guys, it's just one. It might kill your kid or your dog, but don't worry, other than that, you're fine. Here's how you know how screwed we are. The advice they give you so that if you see one of these, what do? If you read this, you know you're screwed if this is in your yard. You're screwed! And the only way to protect yourself is to do nothing that they tell you in here. It's to carry a freaking gat! I will be having my gat on me like I always do anyway. I'm not saying I'm ready to pop a mountain lion, but I'm going to tell you right now, if I see one of those things, and it's anywhere near me or my dog or my kid, it's getting popped and dropped. And by the way, you better not miss if you hit these things, because if you miss it and it goes away, you can get busted for unlawful discharge of a firearm. So you better hit the damn thing. I'm being serious. You want to hit it. If you miss it, then they call the cops. You're screwed. Unless you have it on your cameras, which I have cameras, thank God. It'll be on that camera. I'll be like, hey, come over here. Come over here. Right here by this camera. Yeah, smile. And then I'll unload my 13 rounds from my concealed carry gun. That's why I like it, 13 rounds. If you need more than that, you're in trouble, is what I say. I don't need a second clip. Except when BLM was terrorizing and taking over our city and breaking everything, then I had a second clip in my pocket. Trust me. Okay, so here's my questions for you. I want you to chime in. This is not just about me. Nice kitty. How likely, what I want to ask you is this. Okay, let me, wrong question here. What's your plan to deal with the mountain lion if it comes into your backyard? Do you have a plan? What is your plan? I want to know what your plan is. And if you don't have one, make one up because it's in your yard right now. Let's go with it. Roll with it. Come on. What's your plan to deal with the mountain lion if it comes in your backyard? And I love asking you what your plan is. I came up with that question, by the way. What's your plan? And don't tell me it's run, because if you do, it's going to kill you. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. This is the kind of animal, and it's all based on the advice they have here from the quote-unquote experts. This is the kind of animal. You know how some of these animals, if you run, you trigger the attack response where they look at you as prey and they chase after you and they pounce you. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. That is a serious one. What's your plan to deal with a mountain lion when it comes into your backyard? And have you ever faced a scary animal like this or another scary animal like this face to face? And what did you do? Besides poop your pants. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Lines wide open. What is your plan to deal with the mountain lion when it comes to your backyard? And have you ever faced a scary animal like this or another face-to-face? And what did you do? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. I'm going to read you here's what the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department recommends if you encounter the mountain lion, okay? They say, think Eye of the Tiger. Channel Eye of the Tiger. I'm just making that up. Okay, well, I'll tell you what their list is. All right, thank you. What their list is on what you should do and what you should not do if you come into contact with one of these mountain lions. What's your plan, though? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. A mountain lion was spotted again in North Texas. This time it's in Plano, reports the Dallas News, WFA TV Channel 8. Mountain lion sighting in North Texas, third cat spotted. Yet another mountain lion sighting confirmed in Plano. All right, let's look up how large does a, what's it called, mountain lion get? Lion get, and how big is its prey, right? Big is its prey. Okay. How much should I pray when the mountain lion comes to my back? Holy gosh. Are you... Oh. They only eat meat. That's you and me. They have large canines. I'm seeing they're 6 to 9 feet long, you guys. We're never supposed to not panic. There's something 6 to 9 feet long in my backyard that eats meat, and it's a predator, and I'm not supposed to panic. All right, here's the advice before I tell. Here we go. Mike in Frisco's called in. Should I give out the advice to tell you real fast? Okay. So here's the advice for the cat. If you see, it's not a cat, it's a freaking mountain lion, dude. Here's their advice: pick up all children off the ground immediately. All children, pick them up off the ground immediately, because they will kill them. That's what this is about. They're gonna kill your kid. Mountain lion will eat your freaking kid. That's what that's all about. Number 2, do not, all caps not, do not approach the lion. No beep! Right? Stay calm. And talk calmly and move slowly. Holy gosh. I will slowly pull my gun out. I mean, I swear to you, this is, I gotta shoot the thing. This thing's dead if it's in my backyard, or it's going to run away, because I am not dying for this thing. Do not turn your back. Do not turn your back on the lion. Do you hear this? Do not turn your back on the lion. Back away slowly. Do not run. All caps, not run. That kicks in the prey. Predator prey. It'll come after you and kill you. Literally, they can be up to 250 pounds, guys. That's more than I weigh. That's like 70, 80 pounds more. Like 70 pounds more than I weigh. I'm killing the thing. Okay? Do all you can to enlarge your image. What does that mean? Do I get do I print an image of myself and hold it up higher like a peacock? Do not, all caps, crouch down or try to hide. You're going to fool the cat. It didn't see me. Yes, a nocturnal creature's not going to see you if the lion's aggressive. Throw rocks, sticks, or anything you can get your hands on. Where's the mention of a gun? Right? The first thing I'm going to do is pull my gun out. If the lion attacks, fight back. Fighting back can drive off lines. If the lion attacks, fight back. But no mention of a gun. Now, this is why I'm grateful I have an AR-15, but I doubt I'd have time to get it in time. I don't usually carry that on me, but maybe I need to now when I go outside with my dog at 2 in the morning. Okay, your call, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. What's your plan to deal with the mountain lion if it comes in your backyard? Have you ever faced a scary animal like this or another animal like this that's scary face-to-face, and what did you do? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Mike in Frisco, hello, WBAP.
Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome.
I'm an avid hunter, and
okay.
I have friends in Arizona, and we go javelina hunting in Arizona every year.
Don't they have scary tusks that'll cut you open like razor blades?
They do, but they're not as scary as everybody says.
Okay.
But that being said, it was pistol hunting. So I would travel to Arizona, I would get a general license, and then I would get a tag to pistol hunt. And every time we went out there, the game warden would come out and they would check our licenses and they would make sure that we had the license to hunt. Mm-hmm. And the last time I went out there, the game warden came out, they checked our license, he checked our license, and then he said to us, if you see a mountain lion, shoot it and kill it. And then go into town, get a tag for the mountain lion, and then come out and tag the mountain lion and bring it in.
Okay.
It's the first time in my life where I've ever heard a game warden
tell me to kill it and then get a tag. Holy cow!
Right,
Why?
Because he said the mountain lions kill all of the ranchers' animals. And the ranchers have to do everything they can to stop the mountain lions from killing their animals.
Oh, wow.
So he was more concerned about the ranchers and their animals than he was about the mountain lions.
Good. Apparently there's no shortage.
Yeah, there was no shortage.
I take it you're going to shoot the thing.
We actually saw a mountain lion, but it was too far away and was running too fast for us.
How fast would you guess it was running? Take a guess.
It wasn't full. It wasn't full run on, but it was a stride fast enough to where you couldn't really take a shot at it. And I got to tell you, they're beautiful animals. If you ever see one of them running, they're just beautiful animals.
That's amazing. I appreciate your call, my friend. Thank you very much. Thomas and Cleburne, WBAP.
Yes, sir. About 15 years ago, there was a deer hunter around Weatherford killed a 300-pound mountain lion.
Oh my gosh! By the way, they can run 40 to 50. They can run 40 to 50 miles an hour. That's like 30 to 40 miles an hour faster than we can run.
Well, I ain't even going to try to outrun. I'll just lay down and gobble up, eat what you want. Yeah.
So your friend bagged one though. They weren't looking for him, but they saw one and they bagged it.
It was a deer hunter, and he accidentally stumbled on it, and he killed it, and he couldn't put his arms around it. That's how big this critter was.
And then what did he do? Did he bring it home and get it stuffed and stuff?
I don't know the whole story, but I was at Applebee's here in Cleburne, and one of his buddies said his buddy deer hunter killed him. But, you know, I said, I'm a single feller, but I wouldn't mind running up on a cougar, you know, but not a mountain lion or a puma.
These are massive looking. They are beautiful creatures. They're powerful, massive. They're scary as heck, to be honest with you. Very scary to me.
Well, you didn't catch my little joke. I'm a single feller looking for a woman cougar.
Oh, get out of here. Hold on. Here we go. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Oh! Appreciate your call. There you go. That was great. These are terrifying animals to me. Oh, they're beautiful and terrifying and powerful.